You ain't that. Like, probably coming home and doing songs that I was gone 5 years. It was like they just came out today. But me and going in all my shit in jail, like all my CDs in jail, I'm like, man, I got some shit. But you know,
what was the first shit you recorded when you got free? When you made fucked around? What would you say your first hit after jail?
When I first came home, I dropped Show the World. Show the World was a big record. I got on that song with K Camp too. 3 months after I came on. But that song, it don't take my time. Cut that bitch off.
Shalom, shalom, shalom. Yahweh Shem, Yahweh Shabbarakatha. Yahweh Shemon Athah Shem, Yahweh Shah. What's going on, family? What's going on? All right, give me a second. I get my share on. I'm about to share this class. You know what I'm saying? Give me a second.
I didn't mind saying, Lord, you know, basically, I got a name. I talk this shit. I walk this shit. I got a little bread. You know, talking a little bread. I'm talking about when you know that if I'm finna go in, I know what it's going to have to take for me to stand on this shit. I got to run this shit. And you know, I'm going to run this shit.
Bear with me 1 second.
They ain't got shit. Nobody sending him shit. That nigga over there ain't nobody sending him shit. And you know what? I got sleep in. That's why I stay. I make it comfortable. So I got to go in here and make a little piece out. Hey, fuck that. I got the money. Y'all really eat.
And I beg of you, if you have any questions, tap on in. You know what I'm saying? Write your questions down in the comments. I'll be able to see them in the chat. You know what I'm saying? If you want to do it discreetly, that's no problem. I won't mention your name or anything.
I'm all there. I'm here. So I got a heart. I can't see no niggas. In that day when they started without no honey bombs, nigga. I can't see the niggas hurt being game night. You know, I can't see the niggas in there without no music. And I got.
You got any questions? Type them on in. And if you can, if I may ask, can you please share this class yourself? Share it. You know what I'm saying? We need for you to share this class. It's important for you to share. You know what I'm saying? Share this class if I may. All right. Shalom. Yahweh Shem, Yahweh Shabbarakatha. To my brothers, Yahweh Shemal Athah Shem, Yahweh Shah. To my sisters. This is the Israelite School of Universal and Practical Knowledge coming to you straight out of 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under Commanding General Yohana. And what we do is we teach the blacks, Hispanics, and Native that they are God's true and only chosen people. And when being God's true and only chosen people comes with a set of responsibilities. It comes with a set of morals that guide us to love each other. And in loving each other, we love each other over our oppressors. And with loving each other, we learn to separate from our oppressors because we understand that we have enemies. And our oppressor is our enemy, and he wants to destroy us all in all. He wants to harm us. He wants to get rid of us. He wants to do a lot of things to us. So the best bet is to separate from him. You know what I'm saying? Separate from anything that he does, his lifestyle, his everything about him. We should separate from. We should not partake in anything that our enemy does. You know what I'm saying? So if you have any questions, tap on in, type in your questions. If I don't got the answer, guess what? I know somebody that do though. I know. Oh, Slocky. I know somebody that do. So if I may, we're gonna open up the class to questions as I finish this sharing. And if there's no questions, we're gonna start. We're gonna start right at Deuteronomy 7 and 6. Bear with me 1 second. Bear with me.
But you know you gotta do it. I don't know. Should I use my daughter? How would I make it to use a voice? You know how they you my own character.
Bear with me. Hold on. All right, y'all there? Deuteronomy chapter 7, verse 6. If you ain't got no questions, I understand. Everybody believe that they understand the Bible. They know everything. They're a bunch of big brains. I understand. It's the way it is. You know what I'm saying? But understand this. It's not what it is. In fact, bear with me 1 second as I do something. Salakia left the TV on real quick, but we're gonna get with Deuteronomy 7 and 6. Let me type it up in here real quick. Pop it on the screen. That's where we at. Deuteronomy chapter 7, verse 6. For thou art an holy people unto the Lord thy God. What does it mean to be holy? This is what we must understand. What does it mean to be holy? We need to understand that straight ahead. You know what I'm saying? This is probably one of the most important words that you need to understand when it comes to the scriptures. Is what does the word holy mean? If you don't understand what the word holy means, it means to be separate. It means to be separate, set apart, not like everybody else. Don't try to blend in. Don't try to be like, you know what I'm saying, part of the crowd. No, you separate yourself. Separate yourself. You know what I'm saying? The Lord thy God have chosen thee to be a special people. The Most High is choosing us blacks, Hispanic, and natives to be a special people. That's why we should be holy. Because God chosen us to be different. God chosen us to be special. God chosen us to be set apart. God chosen us not to be like everybody else. And that's important to understand. Because in the world today, we are claiming to be like everybody else. We are claiming for their acceptance, claiming for their love. We are just trying to blend in and assimilate and be like everybody else when the Most High tells us not to be. Most High tells us not to be. You know why? Because we are the ones that's supposed to set the standards. I mean, we set the standards in everything that is minute and unimportant. We set the standards in fashion, in entertainment, in sports. But when it comes to social things like economics, politics, spirituality, morals, we are at the bottom of setting that standard. You know why? You know why we are at the bottom? because we are trying to be like our oppressor. We are trying to fit into his society when we should not. You know what I'm saying? Above all people that are upon the face of the earth, we're supposed to be better and different and special and set apart and separate from all people that are upon the face of the earth. As us being blacks, Hispanics, and natives, we're supposed to be separated from the Asians, supposed to be separated from the Caucasians, supposed to be separated from the Africans, supposed to be separated from the Arabians, supposed to be separated from the Polynesians. You know what I'm saying? Everybody. You know why? Because they do not have our best interests in heart. But us being the most compassionate people on this planet, we do have this. You know what I'm saying? But what I really want to get to, and you keep that scripture in mind, I'm going to get into a news article. A news article about a woman that's going to be forgotten in history. She is going to be forgotten. Her case is going to be unsolved. And it's going to be a horrible, terrible thing. You know what I'm saying? But we're going to get into it. We're going to speak on to the life of TAMLA HORSFORD. You know what I'm saying? We're going to speak on to the life of TAMLA HORSFORD. Bear with me one sec. All right, just in case you don't know who TAMLA HORSFORD is, we're about to get into it. New documents detail cops bungling response to TAMLA HORSFORD's death. So that means in the investigation of this sister's death, the cops are to blame. The Georgia Bureau of Investigation concluded its investigation and the DA declined to press charges. So they concluded the investigation and they declined to press charges. You know what that tells me? There was somebody worthy of pressing charges on and they refused to press those charges. But documents first reported the Rolling Stone detail more officers' blunders, from offensive Snapchats to questionable friendships. All right, we're about to get into this sister's horrific death. And if you don't know who this sister is, I'm about to show you a picture. And this picture went viral. And I'm pretty sure you understand who the sister is once you see this picture. All right? Remember this picture? This picture is of 8 women. And 1 out of the 8 women is a black woman. They were celebrating something. They were having a good time. They were drinking, blah, blah, blah. You see them and look at them. The only person that looks happy and looks human is the black woman. Everybody else in this picture look like they are up to something grimy. So what happened to this woman? What happened to this beautiful black woman that felt comfortable around her enemies? She did not see a reason to be holy. She did not see a reason to be set apart. You know what I'm saying? She just wanted to blend in. She wanted to assimilate. And look at this sister. Let this sister be a stark reminder of what happens when you take your enemies and trust them. What happens when you see your enemies and you trust them. Let her be a reminder of that. Remember her name, TAMLA HORSFORD. You know what I'm saying? But let's continue. After reopening the investigation, excuse me, into the death of TAMLA HORSFORD last year, the Georgia Bureau of Investigation concluded their inquiry earlier this year. So that means they investigated and they came to a conclusion. What is their conclusion? That means they put in their so-called due diligence and they think that they got what the answer is. This is what they believe is the final result. No charges will be filed in the case of the 40-year-old mother of 5. She was a mother of 5. She was a married woman of 5, which is why it is important for you women to stay home. Brothers, make sure your woman's feet are planted inside the home where it is safe. Her husband felt like it was safe for her to venture out with our enemy, and look at her now. He learned his lesson. Learn your lesson from his mistake. Keep these women at home. All they should do is go to work and come home. They should only go out when it's upon your approval. You taking them out, you letting them go out amongst trusted people. Because that sister is now dead because she wanted a girl's night out. And she was a mother of 5. That means there's 5 children and 1 husband who is without a dear part of their life. Because our enemy is the devil that the Bible speaks of, plain and simple. The most evil species on this planet is him. It is unrefuted. But let's continue. Found face down in the backyard of a friend's Forsyth County home the morning after an adult sleepover party. So they wasn't looking out for her. They had an adult sleepover party and they did not look out for that sister. How was she found face down in the dirt? Face down in the dirt. But according to documents obtained by Rolling Stone, which is the article that we're reading right now, the investigation surrounding HORSFORD's death has continued to be muddled by scandals within the police department and unanswered questions about the toxicology report. So there's a bunch of questions within the original investigation, and there's questions within the Georgia Bureau of Investigations investigation. We're going to get into it. There's a bunch of issues with how they investigated things. And of course there is. Because they look out for each other, which is something that we should do, which is something her husband should have done. We should be looking out for each other. That would solve a lot of issues. We would be better off protected if we stuck together, if we was holy, separated, not like everybody else. Because if you was holy and separated, you won't want to hang around the same people that hung your forefathers. You want to be around the same people that tarred and feathered your foremother. Had your foremother hanging from a noose and they cut out her belly to spill out the unborn baby and smash that baby's head against rocks and trees and so forth and so on. They took that umbilical cord and swung that baby till that baby died. And the baby wasn't even born. You know what I'm saying? So these are the people that you choose to hang around. These are the people that you want to be around, that you want to be equal to. And equality is a very immature way of thinking. Equality is not real. Equality is childish. No two things on this planet is equal. No two things. Twins ain't even equal. What two things? I challenge anybody. What two things on this planet is equal? What two things on this planet is equal? I challenge you on that. If you can name two things on this planet that's equal, I'll shut up. I'll shut up. You know why? Because you can't. But let's get back into it. All right. Where was I at? So I went to it. All right. But according to documents obtained by Rolling Stone, the investigation surrounding Horford's death has continued to be muddled by scandals within the police department and unanswered questions about the toxicology report. Horford was found on November 4th, 2018, the morning after a birthday celebration held by the homeowner Jeanne Myers. Horford knew Myers, as well as most of the other attendees, through their son's youth football league. Now, this is how you know she knew this woman, because their sons, their children, played football together. Their children played football together, and that's how they knew each other. And you thought that was a good enough reason to stay at this woman's house overnight, unprotected. You thought you knew this woman because you seen her at the football games. You see that she probably bought some oranges slices for the kids, probably bought some granola bars or whatever, and you thought she was so warm and welcoming. But let me tell you something. They are the devil that the Bible speaks of. And this sister trusting these people is why she is dead today. That's why she's dead. You cannot trust these people. You cannot. But let's continue. The initial Forsyth County Sheriff's Office investigation determined that her death had been an accident, the result of a fall from a second-level balcony. Let me tell you something. As an adventurous, stupid child that I was, I fell from third stories and survived. I got hit by multiple cars throughout my life. I'm no better than this sister. Only way she could die from a second floor is if somebody killed her before she fell. But that's just my way of thinking. I'm not a police officer. I'm not a detective. I'm just a priest and prophet of the Most High. You know what I'm saying? But let's continue. It was until summer 2020 that the Black Lives Matter movement sparked a national conversation about the case. As celebrities like T.I., that chick that Kanye was with, 50 Cent, shared photos and information about Horford on social media. Many questioned whether local police had come to the right conclusion. Could Horford's death really have been caused by a fall from the balcony? How was it possible she fell without anyone hearing it? It was the fact that she was the only Black guest in an overwhelmingly white part of Georgia. Simply a coincidence. Was it? Questions had to be had. You know what I'm saying? Questions got to be had. It doesn't make sense. Salakia. Got a brother here. Oh, shalom, sir. Or she landed on her head and broke her neck. That is possible too, but not everybody dies from a broken neck, sir. Not everybody died from a broken neck. And I seen pictures of the what's the name? And there was a table in front. There's like a folded table. You know how we have tables in camp. There was a table in front of the balcony. Now, if you were stumbling and mumbling and you hit that table, you ain't falling over the balcony. You're not doing that. But let's say she did fall, she broke her neck, bang, bang. She down there, she got a broken neck. It's possible. But there's more factors that we're going to get into. There's more factors. Let's say she had a broken neck, she fell, they discovered her. What did they do? You know what I'm saying? Her face is planted in the dirt. She can't breathe. What did they do? They try to turn her head and make sure she could breathe at least? Did they do any of that? That's the question that must be had. These are the questions that must be answered. And the bottom line is, if they're answered or not, just know this. You are safer far away from our enemy. You are safer not dwelling amongst them on some recreational stuff. Yes, we could do business together, but that's about it. We could do business. But outside of that, there's no reason why I should be amongst those who are destroying my people, who are torturing my people. You know what I'm saying? There is no reason for it. You know what I'm saying? None at all. But let's get back into it. You know what I'm saying? Let's get back into it. Scroll down a bit. These commercials. I gotta wait for it to reload. Oh man, come on. See how the white man is the devil? He can't even get his website working properly. Okay, as the details of the case come out, it became clear that multiple parts of the investigation had gone wrong. Working on the assumption that HORSFORD's death was the result of an accident and not foul play. The crime scene had not been preserved with potential evidence contaminated and witnesses not immediately interviewed. So they messed up right there. For one, the crime scene was not preserved. So that means while the police were there, everybody was muddling and stomping around, touching the body, flipping and doing that and whatever. You know what I'm saying? Evidence was destroyed. They messed that up. And not just that, they didn't even interview the people that were at the party. So let's continue. When HORSFORD's body was sent for autopsy, only a handful of autopsy photos were taken by the medical examiner, which is rare. I'm a nosy person. I'd be into this CSI type stuff when a medical examiner takes pictures of an autopsy. There is easily at least about 30, 40 pictures. Easily. Even if none of them really pans out to be, he takes things that he even speculates. He takes things that he may even guess about, that maybes and might haves, and he takes pictures of everything and explains why he takes pictures of them. You know what I'm saying? But let's continue. When Horford's body was sent for autopsy, only a handful of photos were taken by the medical examiner. The public speculation largely focused on Jose Barrera, the boyfriend of the homeowner and party host. At the time of Horford's death, Barrera was employed by the Solicitor General's office as a pretrial officer for the Forsyth County court system. So he has ties within the legal system of that county. He has connections. But Barrera was fired from the position in December 2018. Why was he fired? Questions are had, answers are needed. But he was found to have looked up information relating to the Horford case while on the job. So he was looking up information that he shouldn't have been looking up, especially on the job. You know what I'm saying? He had his responsibilities, but he decided to look up information. Why would he risk his job for that? Why would he do that? Is he trying to cover up something, or is he really concerned? Let's see. To start, Forsyth County was a rifle with racial tension. So this place is littered with racial tension. This place has racial tension all over the place. You know what I'm saying? This place is like Boston. This place is like Springfield. This place is like New York, Atlanta, everywhere. This place is just the average place in America, which is filled with racial tension. Every one of the town's more than 1,000 Black residents were driven out. Hold on. Let's bring that back. In 1912, every one of the town's more than 1,000 Black residents were driven out. So in Forsyth County, they driven out more than 1,000 Black residents. So the town itself has a racial history. And Forsyth County has remained primarily white to this day. The sheriff at the time of Horsford's death, Ron Freeman, has himself faced allegations of racism and nepotism. I'm not fully against nepotism. If you don't know what nepotism is when you put your family, friends, and race before everybody else. So, for example, if you have a business and you hire your cousin over some white guy, guess what? That's called nepotism. And I'm not against that. But I am against racism. I am against holding the people back and destroying and oppressing a nation of people just so your nation could stay on top. That's what I'm against. But it wasn't until a change.org petition gained more than 600,000 signatures that Freeman asked the GBI, which is the Georgia Bureau of Investigation, to reopen the case in July 2020. Now, this Ron Freeman, who has racial things against him, asked for the GBI to reopen the investigation. And they do. But golly, he has a lot of clout to have that much power for just being a sheriff. But family and friends of Horsford, as well as Black Lives Matter advocate, hoped the GBI investigation might provide answers to many questions left by the original inquiry. And no questions were answered. None. See, this is the problem with us right here. This is the problem. All in all, let me tell you something. We depending on our enemy. We depending on them to solve anything. When it comes for us, it's always a fail. They are not going to solve anything when it comes to us unless it benefits them. Unless it benefits them. You may think they are your friends, but they are only your friends for a moment. They are only your friend for a time. They are not your friend. But let's go into a scripture real quick. Let's go to Proverbs 11 and 21. I thought I was typing in what's the name. Hold on. Let's go to Proverbs 11 and 21. Proverbs 11 and 21. If you're there, read along with me. Though hand join in hand, though you may be holding hands together, your hands may be joining together. You know what I'm saying? You may be happy that that person's there with you and you're there with that person and everything's all hunky-dory. But though hand join in hand, the wicked shall not be unpunished. Well, they're not going to be unpunished. Whoever destroyed this sister and killed that sister or neglected to help that sister, at the very least, there is neglect here. At the very least, there's neglect. Somebody neglected to help that sister, TAMLA HORSFORD. At the very least. So though hand join in hand, the wicked shall not be unpunished. So they're going to get what's coming to them. And you may be hurt. You may be hurt by the fact that these people that you love and you respect and you want to be like, the Most High got plans for them. The Most High about to destroy them. You know there is going to be a real and true genocide in the future. There will be a whole race of people that will not exist in the future. A whole race of people. And that is prophesied in the scriptures. There will be a whole race of people gone. And you want to join hands with that race of people. You want to be friendly and love those race of people when those race of people will leave you to die in their backyard. When those same people will leave you to hang from trees. There was a young teenage sister in Massachusetts whose family thought it would be good to leave the hood and the ghetto and brought their child to the suburbia, and her child was bullied. And within that bullying, her child ends up losing her life. That's why the Most High told us to be holy. That's why he told us to separate. But let me continue. But the seed of the righteous shall be delivered. Yo, if you live in your life right, you might got a hope. You might got a chance. But let me tell you something. If you live in your life right, there's no way in hell you will be around these people. No way in hell. No way possible that you would be around these people. You know what I'm saying? These people are straight up and down, out for your blood, out for your neck. They do not have your interest in heart. You know what I'm saying? But if you got any questions, type them on in. Type them on in. at least type in your name and location. I'll give you a shout out. You know what I'm saying? I see there's quite a few people on the streams. You know what I'm saying? We got a couple of streams going on. We got the Facebook and the YouTube. We got a few people on here. You know what I'm saying? If you got any questions, type them on in. But let's get back to the article real quick. Let's get back to the article. All right? A new chapter. In May 2021, that is literally 3 years after this sister died, Forsyth County District Attorney Penny Penn announced that the GBI had concluded their inquiry and there would not be charges filed in HORSFORD's death. So this sister who trusted, this sister who felt comfortable, this sister who felt like it was okay to leave her family and have a sleepover at 40 years old, having a sleepover. Golly. 40 years old having a sleepover with these oppressors, with these devils. No charges will be filed in her death. She will get no justice. Her family will get no closure. Her family won't get no justice. She had 5 kids and a husband. 5 kids and a husband. And you listening to your Christian pastor. Your Christian pastor tells you that you should assimilate. You should be more like them. You got your entertainers like Don Lemon telling you that the way that you dress is the reason why they're shooting you out in the streets, which is far from the truth. Because when we had on military garments, they were killing us. And there ain't no further assimilation than joining the American military. And they still will slaughter us with that American military uniform on. This is who they are. This is their nature. This is the people that we expect to represent us when we vote. Even if you don't vote for so-called Caucasian, guess what? You're still expecting them to represent you because, for one, this political system is their system. So it's them that's representing you. And the people that you're voting for that's not them, guess what? They learned how to represent whatever they represent from them. So they will not represent you. This is the world that we live in. This is the world that we got to fight to stay out of. We got to fight to separate from. We got to fight to segregate from, because it's not for us. The scripture says if this was my world, they would fight. We're not fighting. We're not fighting. And scripture also says this world was given unto the hands of the wicked. Who is running this world right now? Who is running it? Let me tell you who's running it. Our enemy, our oppressor, Caucasians, the devil. That's who's running this world, and that is the wicked. And you want to be friends with them. You don't know the Bible. And I understand. I blame the Christian church for that. I blame the Christian church for that, fully. But let me tell you something. The Israelite School of Universal and Practical Knowledge is here to let you know what it is. We're here to let you know what is really in those scriptures. We're here to guide you correctly. We're here. Our whole mission is for us to love and depend on each other. Because sooner or later, if you don't do it voluntarily, it's going to be forced upon you. What do I mean by that? Sooner or later, Our enemy is in a bind right now. Our oppressor is in a bind right now. The whole world is turning against him, which is another prophecy, which you can read in the book of Obadiah. The world is turning against him. Not just Americans, but Caucasians in general. The financial system is about to be turned upside down. The American dollar ain't going to mean nothing. The American dollar is going to be no different from the African dollar. But hold on. The African dollar is joining this BRIC system. And within this BRIC system, they're going to base their money off of gold. And within basing their money off of gold, they have something substantial to back them up. So with America in its debt and not being based off gold, will crumble. Will crumble. It won't be able to compete. And then when it's not able to compete, it's going to become frustrated. America is going to become angry. America is going to be poor. It's going to be a third world. And guess what's going to happen? It's going to become aggressive. And guess who's going to get the tip of that aggression? Guess who's going to get the bunt of that? Guess who? Guess who? It's going to be us Black, Hispanics, and Natives. We are going to get the bunt of that aggression. Which is why in the ISUPK, we are preparing to band together. There is safety in numbers. We are preparing to learn to depend on each other. We are preparing to learn to protect each other, defend each other, which is going to be needed very soon. And I'm talking about very soon, because I don't see this assault on the American dollar failing anytime soon. I don't see it failing. But it might. But I'm going to close that right there. I'm going to, shall I go back to the, what's the name? No, let's get first address. Let's get first address. Oh, snap. I didn't do that right. Bear with me, y'all. First address. If you don't know what first address is, that's in the Apocrypha. I'm going with first address. Maybe I think it's 84. Yeah, let's start with 84. All right, if you don't understand the history of the Apocrypha, let me tell you something. The Apocrypha is a collection of books that was stripped from the biblical text because the Catholic Church didn't deem it as canon, which means it did not fit their narrative. You know what I'm saying? But the Apocrypha fits the biblical narrative, but it does not fit the Christian or Catholic narrative. And let me explain something. Catholics and Christians do not follow the Bible at all. So they take things out to fit their narrative. That's why when they talk about John 3:16, that's all they read is John 3:16. They do not support it with anything else because technically there's nothing else to support their doctrine on John 3:16. But let me tell you something. When it comes down to it, the Apocrypha is fully set in stone because there's a part of history that the Apocrypha talks about that's completely missing in the scriptures. And that is the Greek rule. But that's fully in the Apocrypha. But I digress. You know what I'm saying? Let's get with it. First Esdras 8 and 84. You know what I'm saying? And this is beyond what I'm about to explain here is beyond it's beyond what is blanketly being said. It's deeper than that. This goes back to Deuteronomy 7 and 6 too. You know what I'm saying? Because it's speaking on the same thing. So let's get with it. First Esdras chapter 8, verse 84. Therefore, now shall ye not join your daughters unto their sons. Hold on. This sounds like separation. This sounds like segregation. This sounds like you don't want your daughters to marry their sons. Why? Why is this in the Bible? You don't want your daughters to marry their sons. Let's continue. Now then shall ye take their daughters unto your sons. So you don't even want their daughters marrying your sons. This is what you call interracial marriages. What you call interracial marriages. An interracial marriage is against the Bible. It is against what God has set forth. It is against what God deems for us to do. Because he called us to be holy and separate. The only people that we're supposed to be loving on is each other. You see that black woman, love her. You see that Hispanic woman, love her. You see that Native woman drunk out of her mind, love her. Because our women are the one that need us. They don't need us. But it goes beyond personal relationships. It goes to friendships. Why are you friends with your enemy? Why are you friends with them? Why are you joining onto them? Like, let's go back to high school with it. Let's go back to high school with it. I went to Central High in Springfield, Massachusetts, which, believe it or not, is very segregated, especially in the 90s. I don't know about now. But when I went there, even though it was a majority black school, when I went there, the black people did not mix with white people. The white people had their section we had like 3 lunch periods. It's like 20 minutes, and that consisted of a whole hour. 20 minutes each lunch period. And I skipped a lot of classes. So every lunch period is I don't know what it was, but the white section was where it was, and the black section was where it was. And it never changed even throughout the lunch periods. Because there's something natural in us, even in our high school days, that lets us know not to join them, not to be a part of them. You know what I'm saying? So let me read that from the top again. Therefore, ye shall not join your daughters unto their sons, neither shall ye take their daughters unto your sons. Moreover, ye shall never seek to have peace with them. Ye shall never seek to have peace with them. What does it mean to have peace with them? What does that mean? There's many ways to seek peace, like contextually. Hold on, let's get to the spirit of it. Let's get to the spirit of it first. What does it mean to never seek to have peace with them? What does that mean? If you got an answer, type it on in. What does it mean to never seek peace with them? I'll give y'all a minute or two. What does it mean to never seek peace with them? No answer. Let me explain what it means to never seek peace with them. Never try to be buddy-buddy with them. Never seek to have their smiles, their approval. Never seek to assimilate. Never seek, you know what I'm saying? Like one way to seek peace with them, which is a classic way for nations to seek peace, is through marriage. One of the ways to seek peace is through marriage. That's one of the original ways. Two separate kingdoms will come together, say your daughter can marry my son can marry your daughter, and bang, peace is brokered. That's peace. Because now they can't beef with each other because they are destroying their own family. What's another way? Another way is to be a friend or a buddy, kikiing and ha-haing with them. Who has time for that? You being all buddied up with them, laughing and letting your guard down. You're starting to trust them. You're starting to think that they're okay to be around. And they're not. So you're letting your guard down and you actually think that you're at peace with them. But we're going to get further into that too in another scripture. But not right now. But just think of every way that you can seek peace with them. Think about all these protesters and marches. We shall overcome. Black Lives Matter. Just saying Black Lives Matter sounds like a cry of, please be peaceful with me. That's what it sounds like. But the scriptures clearly says never seek peace with them. You know what that means? Be ready to war. Be ready to fight. Be ready to fight with them. That's the only thing you should be concerned about when it comes to your enemy. Is fighting, is war. That's it. And that's who they are. That's who they are. But let's get into it. Moreover, ye shall never seek to have peace with them. So never seek it. In other words, never even expect it. So while you protesting and begging for them for their peace, begging for them to solve the murders of your loved ones, begging for them to, you know what I'm saying, solve your social and racial issues, solve black on black crime, solve this. No. You should not be trusting them on that level because they will never do it. They will never do it. Just that simple. They will absolutely never do such a thing. You know what I'm saying? But let's continue. Moreover, ye shall never seek to have peace with them. Why? That ye may be strong. Whoa. Whoa. Everybody was wondering, how do we become strong as a nation? How do we become strong as a people? The answer is right there. We must never seek peace with our enemy so that we can become strong. We must learn to depend on each other, seek peace with each other, love each other, protect and defend each other. That's how we become strong. But once that attention is pointed somewhere else, you're weakening your own nation. You're weakening your own people. And that's what America's all about. That's what it's all about, right there. weakening your own people. So never forget that, sister. Let it be a lesson unto you that seeking peace with your enemy may lead your body to be dead face down in the dirt and never be solved. It will never be solved. You know why? Because money, relationships, whatever it is, you're not important enough to break their bond. So why should they be important enough to break ours? Just that simple. So never forget TAMLA, HORSFORD. Never forget that, sister. You know what I'm saying? But let's continue. And eat the good things of the land, and that ye may leave the inheritance of the land unto your children forevermore. Which is important because the simple fact is we have nothing to leave our kids. Know why? We're too busy thinking that that's not important. We're too busy thinking that that's not necessary. Look at Oprah, for example. The richest woman on the planet. She has no kids. She has no inheritance. She loves white people. She loves Africans. She loves Asians. But where she grew up, there is simply no solution. She'll build schools in Africa. There's not one school in that small town of, what was it, Georgia or Alabama, wherever she grew up, where she became rich, which is one of the most crime-ridden cities in America, Chicago. She did not help out Chicago, but she will help out Africa. She will help out Asia. She will help out Europeans. She will help out everybody but you. Because she's trying to seek peace with her master. Her master's keeping her rich. And that money makes her think that she is equal to him. And she is not. So if you want to have something to inherit to your kids, you want something to pass down to your kids, even our oppressive system allows it. Our oppressive system allows for you to obtain something and hold on to it forever. And when you die, you could give it to whoever, no matter how much that in debt that property is, or no matter how much the problem that property is, you can always pass it down. But the problem is now we have nothing to pass down because we rather give everything to our enemy. There is a Harlem staple named Sylvia's, a Harlem restaurant that's been around for decades and is a staple in Harlem. And guess who owns it? Guess who owns Sylvia's? It's not black people. It's Asians. Because she did not want to leave an inheritance to her children. She did not want to do that. She wanted to have peace with her enemies. And that's a problem amongst us all together. That's a problem amongst us as a whole. You know what I'm saying? But let's get with it. Let's get back to the article real quick. To be honest, I forgot where I was, but I think I finished this part all together. Let's start with the last part. Specifically, more about the two individuals who left their positions. No, I did not read that at all. Okay, I see where I was at. Concluding that Horford's death was caused by an accidental fall from the balcony. That's not to say that It's like, but that's not to say there weren't any new revelations from the GBI report. Now, documents obtained by Rolling Stones revealed the full results of the GBI investigation, specifically more about the two individuals who left their positions in local law enforcement in the wake of the Horsford's death. Party attendee Jose Barrera and responding officer Michael Christian. So these two devils left their position. That means they retired or stepped down, I don't know. But they left their position in the wake of her death. You know why? Because how may I put it? Because a lot of us would not see it as true. But when a cop commits a crime, the punishment is supposed to be harsher. At least it's supposed to be. But in reality, it isn't. But to protect yourself, step down. Step down. It's like becoming a new man and you're not responsible for what you did back then. You know what I'm saying? But authorities had already disclosed that Barrera had been let go for searches related to the Horford case. They said that, but it sounds good. Sounds good. That's all I can say. It sounds good. You know what I'm saying? But Barrera was also the center of another important debate, whether or not Horford's left arm had been moved, because there was reports that when she fell, she landed, well, when they discovered the body, it looked like she landed and she face planted. It looked like she face planted and both her palms were face up. Her palms were up, like she face planted, like there was no defense, like her face just hit the ground. Blah. Believe it or not, that won't always kill you. But blah, face planted, blah. Because I see people scorpion all the time and they live through it. But face planted, blah, palms up. That was one of the reports. For some reason, when they took the autopsy picture, one of her arms was bent and fist was closed, which is weird. I'm going too deep into it, but you know what I'm saying? Let's continue. When Horford was photographed, Horford's right arm was next to her body, while the left arm was extended and bent at the elbow. However, statements from Barrera and the homeowner, Jeanne Myers, recall Horford being found with both arms at her side. So who moved her arm? Why was her arm moved? What is going on? See, if you know anything about getting away with a crime, a lot of people think outsmarting the system is the best way to do it. The best way to get away with a crime is to confuse the system. Confuse it. Once it confused, they don't know who to point the finger at. And that's why that arm was bent. I'm pretty sure it was a cop that bent it, then took the photo. Because it's weird for somebody to land with one arm down and one arm bent. That's weird. That's weird. Like usually because your arm is bent because you are bracing for something. You are bracing for it. So when you land, you brace and bang. Your brace meant nothing. So you're landing, you're down, you're out. You know what I'm saying? When the arm's on your side, that means you didn't plan to brace for nothing. So who plans to brace for a fall from a second-story building with one arm? Who believes that they are that strong? I don't know. I don't know. But did someone move her left arm, perhaps to check for vitals? According to a supplemental report from Forsyth County, Aurora admitted to it in a call with Lieutenant Andy Collin. The supplemental report essentially advised that Barrera telephonically contacted investigator Callan on November 7, 2018, and advised that he checked Horford's left arm for a pulse, reads the GBI report, which is crazy because in the initial report, he said that which is hilarious, but it's not funny. He did the dead man kick to her leg, like he kicked her on her leg to see if she'll move or something. And she didn't move, so he just automatically assumed she was dead. That's the initial report, but now he's checking vitals. So I'm weird about that. So Barrera did, in fact, move Horford's left arm per investigator Callan. So Barrera is the one that moved her arm. Why was that initially hidden from the report? Why was that initially hidden from the report? However, in an investigation with GBI Special Agent Derek Glasgow, Barrera denied moving Horford's arm. So in the initial report, he denied that. When the GBI confronted Barrera with Callan's report, he called it bullshit. So when they confronted him with his homeboy's report, Colin, who confirmed that he moved her arm to check her vitals, he called it bullshit. Now, Barrera denied even telling Colin he moved Horford's arm. So now he's backing down again. See the confusion? And insisted he hadn't moved the arm. There's no way I checked for a pulse, he told Glasgow. You see how the confusion starts? Starts just with a little bit of denial. A little bit of denial, a little bit of acceptance, a little bit of imbalance. But let's continue. The GBI report also revealed information about the relationship between Callan and Barrera, who worked together at the courthouse prior to Horford's death. According to the statement Callan gave to the GBI, Assistant District Attorney James Dunn had previously given him Barrera's cell phone number with the context of helping Barrera find a job with the FCS. Hold on. Let's start that again. According to the statement Colin gave to the GBI, Assistant District Attorney, that means ADA, James Dunn had previously given him Barrera's cell phone number. So the ADA gave Colin Barrera's cell phone number within the context of helping Barrera find a job. So he gave him the number to help Barrera find a job. Dunn told Colin that Barrera had recently been fired from his job with the state probation office, along with another female for lying, apparently about a relationship between the two. Dunn said that while Barrera shouldn't have lied, he was a good guy with a good reputation around the courthouse. So he's trying to hook dude up with a job. He's trying to hook a dude up with a job knowing that that's conflict of interest. That's conflict of interest, and that is why you should never trust your enemy. Because they will look out for their own over your death, knowing that it could cost them their job, knowing that it could cost them everything that they worked hard for. They will look out for themselves over you. Everything over you. Spotlight on Snapchat. The GB, matter of fact, hold on. I want to get into a specific scripture at this point. I want to get into let's get into Ecclesiasticus 12. And 10 through 18. We're going to get into Ecclesiasticus 12. All right, this is what the sister should have observed while she was going through the hell she was going through. This is what she should have known. If the Christian church was real about their job, if they did what they were supposed to do, this sister would have known this. You know what I'm saying? But let's continue. Ecclesiasticus chapter 12, verse 10. Never trust thine enemy. Did you hear that? Did you read what that said? I mean, am I reading it wrong or something? I mean, I never heard this in the Christian church. I don't know how to take it. I mean, the scripture said, never trust thine enemy. When the Christian church always tell you to pray for your enemy and to love your enemy. Well, why? Well, let me tell you something. There's context within the word enemy. There's context with it. But this enemy is a broader span of enemy that's not within your nation. This is not brotherhood. This is not a brotherhood scripture. This is a wartime script. This is about war. This is about war. And that's what we need to understand as a people. You know what I'm saying? But let's continue. For like as iron rusteth, so is his wickedness. Just like iron rusts, iron is for sure to rust. It's a guarantee. Iron rusting is a guarantee. Because all you need is moisture and oxygen. And iron will rust. Guaranteed. Even the daddy of iron still, I mean, not the daddy, the child of iron still, the next generation still, guess what? That still rusts too. So no matter how hard or how diesel and how strong they are, guess what? Their wickedness will show. Like earlier today, I seen a video from our enemy, Donald Trump. Our enemy, Donald Trump, made this video. And it was a video that is against the school system promoting transgender LGBT. It was some that I would fully agree with. Some I would back fully. But just because it came from him, I can't trust it personally. I can't trust what he's talking about just because it comes from him. You know what I'm saying? Like, our enemy is a bunch of snakes, a bunch of deceivers, a bunch of liars. And they cannot be trusted. Just that simple. They cannot be trusted. But let's continue. Though he humbled himself, like those women that she went to the party with, the women that this sister, suffered with, TAMLA, she trusted them. And they were only able to gain her trust via them humbling themselves. If they didn't humble themselves, she would not have trusted them. It's just that simple. She would not have trusted them or anything that they're about. You know what I'm saying? Because instinctively, we don't trust them. We don't trust them. We may joke with them. But it takes a lot for us, a lot of convincing and a muscle for us to go out and chill with them and hang out with them after work. It takes a lot. Because we naturally don't trust them. And that's okay. That is righteous. That is Deuteronomy 7:6, not to trust them. That is Ecclesiasticus 12:10, not to trust them. It's only right. But let's continue. Though he humble himself and go crouching, yet take good heed and beware of him. Like no matter how much they may seem cool, no matter how much they may seem like they part of the system and they allies or whatever you may believe, do not trust them. Tamla's problem is that she trusted them so much that she would leave her 5 kids, and her husband to go have a good time with them for a night. I'd be damned. These are the people that you trust. Well, let's continue. To humble yourself and go crouching, yet take good heed and beware of him. And thou shalt be unto him as if thou hast wiped a looking glass. And thou shalt be unto him. If you beware of him, you should be unto him as if you wipe the looking glass. He will understand that you see him as for who he is. You see him. You understand fully who he is. And what are you to do? What are you doing? You are bewaring of him. You are keeping your distance. You are making sure that you are not part of his conquest. You are looking out. So beware of him. And be unto him as you wipe the looking glass. He's going to understand that you see his rust. You see where he is messed up. And once he knows that you see that, he's going to understand that you ain't going to mess with him. You ain't messing with him. You don't trust him. Slakia, but Slakia. Let me continue. And thou shalt know that his rust have not been altogether wiped away. Like, understand this. You think you wiped away all his rust. You think that you may have done everything that you could do, but just know this. Sooner or later, you're going to understand that all his rust is not wiped away. You're going to understand that everything that he is about is there. You're going to understand that. You're going to understand that fully. You know what I'm saying? And that's what is going to be your problem. Because you trusted him, and you're going to see him for the dirtbag that he is. You're going to start to regret that you let him in so close. I'm pretty sure that that husband of TAMLA he probably woken up. He probably understands that he cannot trust them people. His next woman, I'm pretty sure he will not have go to no party that's full of white people. I know he will not. But let's continue. Verse 12. Set him not by thee, lest when he have overthrown thee. Don't be too close to him. And don't have him too close to you. Because he will overthrow you. He will overthrow you by hook or by crook. And that sister TAMLA was overthrown. That sister TAMLA was overthrown. And now she's dead. Now her children is without a mother. Now her husband is without a wife. And that's why you should see them as your enemy. Because they will strip everything they can from you. They will strip everything from you. And they will strip everything from the people that you love, which is you. Imagine your loved one being killed by them. Is that what it would take for you not to be friendly with them? Because the other option is for them to take you. That's the other option. I understand the world got you thinking that black people is black people's problem. That black people got all this crime in the world, and that's black people's problem. May be true. Guess what? That's our problem for us to solve. Not our problem for them to butt their heads in and be nosy about. We don't butt our heads in on white crime. We don't butt our heads in on Asian crime. Why everybody got to butt their head in on our personal issues? If they left us alone, we will solve our personal issues. I urge everybody, if you got a problem with another Black, Hispanic, or Native person, come talk to a priest and prophet in your zone of the ISUPK. That's what we call counsel. And your problem will be solved. Just that simple. It will be resolved in a way that you both will walk out still loving each other. Just that simple. But let's continue. Set him not by thee, lest when he have overthrown thee, he stand up in thy place. Neither let him sit at thy right hand, lest he seek to take thy seat. And thou that hast slogan, and thou at the last remember thy words and be pricked within. So this is straight up telling you, never trust them. You trust them, they're going to take over and they're going to take your seat. Just remember that and be pricked by those words. Let those words irk you and irritate you and You ever had a little pebble in your shoe? A little pebble in your shoe? Imagine every time that you just put your shoes on your walk. Every time you walk, take a step, that little pebble is pressing into your foot, and it's aggravating you. Imagine if that little pebble was telling you, don't trust white people. Every time you step, don't trust white people. Every time, don't trust them. Don't trust them. Don't trust them. Don't trust them. That's what it means to have the word be, to prick you. That's what that means. Something that you can't run from, something that you will always be reminded about. You know what I'm saying? But verse 13, who would pity a charmer that is bitten with a serpent? That is important to understand. Who would pity a charmer? Who would pity the charmer that is bitten with the serpent within? That means there's plenty of people that have told you, don't trust them. Don't trust that snake. The snake's gonna bite you. What are you, crazy? There's plenty of people that tell you that. And then you still do it. Who's gonna pity your death? That's why her death ain't covered by the news so much. That's why there ain't so many Black, Hispanic, and natives, sharing her story, because nobody pities her. In fact, I'm only sharing it so she could be a learning tool for y'all not to trust her. I feel bad for the sister, yes. Do I pity her? No. I wish I could have told her of the ills and the evil of those people that she's about to spend the night with. Wish I could have told her. But something tells me in my head, somebody did. Somebody told us something. But let's continue. But who would pity a charmer that is bitten with a serpent? Like, she got bit by that serpent. She got bit by it. She straight up got bit. Or any such as come nigh wild beasts. Our enemy, our oppressor, that man of perdition, the devil that the Bible speaks of, guess what? He is a wild animal. And for you to come near him, for you to come nigh unto him, let me tell you something. You are in danger. You are in danger coming near him. Bear with me one sec. Bear with me one sec.
job.
Salaki for that. I had to do a little investigating. But where was I at? Yes, indeed. If you have any questions, don't be, too shy to type them on in. Even if you got a statement, say what you want. Let the chat be a place where you could express yourself. You know what I'm saying? But let's get with it real quick. Verse 14. So one that goeth to a sinner and is defiled with him in his sins, who will pity? So, like, put it like this. You go out, you hang out with Epstein, right? Who is an open pedophile. And your reputation with hanging out with Epstein is out there. And then people discover that you're a pedophile along with Epstein. Who will pity you? Who's going to pity you? So whatever that sister was doing out there with them devils, with them heathens, let me tell you something. That's on her. That's on her. And I hope she returns in power so she can learn better. But honestly, I don't expect it. I don't expect it. But what I do expect is for you to learn from her mistakes. For you to learn from her mistakes and become better and stronger than her. She died trusting and loving her enemy. Enough to get drunk at a party with, let's say, even if she did drunk and fall over that balcony on her own. I would never get drunk around too many oppressors. Never. I need at least about 3 or 4 trustworthy people I could be around to even do it. You know what I'm saying? To even sorry, Salakia, my cat be bullying. To even go out around them. I need at least about 3 or 4 of my own around me. And even then I'm still on point. I'm on Shamar. You know what I'm saying? I'm on Shamar. I'm looking around. I'm checking things out because they are not trustworthy. You know what I'm saying? But let's continue. Verse 15. For a while he will abide with thee, but if thou begin to fall, he will not tarry. Like, look, that sister, everything was hunky-dory with her. They were with her. You seen that picture? Let me show y'all that picture again. Let me show y'all that picture again. I'll bring that picture right back up. Look at that picture. She's in the middle, like she's being spotlighted. You know what I'm saying? She's being spotlighted. Look at that picture. She's the only one there without a cup in her hand. Well, there's a few others. She ain't got a cup in her hand. She don't look like she's too tipsy to me. She don't look like she drunk out of her mind to fall over a balcony. I seen people drunk out of their mind that did not fall over no balcony. You know what I'm saying? But look at her. She looks comfortable. But let's read that scripture again. For a while he will abide with thee. These women abided with her for a little bit. They were with her for a little bit. They were with her. They were abiding by her. They were kikiing and ha-haing. They abided with her. You know what I'm saying? Let's continue. But if thou begin to fall, he will not tarry. Put like this, she fell. Which of these women stood by her side? When she began to fall, which of these women were here to help her? Which of these women stood by her? Which of these women are helping her kids right now? Which of these women are helping her husband right now? Which? None of them. You know why? Because they weren't real friends. They were not real friends. It's just that simple. But now that we're here, let's get back to the subject that we was talking about. That's right. I was in the middle of this, right? Hold on. Let me finish the scripture first. Let me finish the scripture. All right. Verse 16. An enemy speaketh sweetly with his lips, but in his heart he imagineth how to throw thee into a pit. Now, if she were drunk like that, they chilling on the couch, drunk like that. I don't know about you, but I know some people that mumbled and stumbled. I know some people that was hard to become mobile with when they were drunk. You know what I'm saying? And if it takes some sweet words to get a woman that drunk out of her mind to actually move from whatever place of comfort she was in to go onto a porch. What made her go onto that porch? What made her fall over? Only thing that could get her, if it was human influence, if it is human influence, it had to be sweet words. It had to be some type of sweet words that got her to move. You know what I'm saying? That's what that was. Because I don't see it happening any other way. I don't see it happening any other way. But let's continue. An enemy speaketh sweetly with his lips, but in his heart he imagineth how to throw thee into a pit. So whoever was able to convince her to go into that porch, they have full intent. They have full intent to have that sister fall into a pit, fall into a place that she does not need to be. You know what I'm saying? But let's continue. He will weep with his eyes, like all of them, all 7 of them. Well, technically 8, because the husband or the boyfriend too, the boyfriend Barrera. 8 of them are all weeping with their eyes. They may seem sorrowful. They may throw up a few justice for TAMLA. They may throw up a few tips and investigations that will lead nowhere. They may do what they do. But it's all smoke and mirrors. It's not real. These people have no interest in helping that sister. In fact, they have interest in protecting whoever did kill them. You see, these people have connections. They have connections through the criminal justice system. But let's finish. Throw thee into a pit. He will weep with his eyes, but if he find opportunity, he will not be satisfied with blood. These people were not satisfied with the death of their sister. They had to cover it up. They were not satisfied with just her dying. They had to get away with it. They had to make it look like she is at fault for being too drunk and chilling on the porch. In fact, that dude Barrera called her specifically before the crime committed. He called her specifically the porch lady. The porch lady sounds specifically similar to the porch monkey. The ratios, I ain't gonna get to it because it may be coincidental. It just may be. I doubt it. I doubt it. But let's continue. If adversity come upon thee, thou shalt find him there first, and thou wilt pretend to help thee, yet shall he undermine thee. Like, you're going to have some problems in life. This is a basic scripture to make you understand that they are not to be trusted. You're going to go through some things, right? You're going to go through some things, and you may crawl to your oppressor for help. Who knows what she did? But this is beyond her, what I'm reading in scripture. You may go to your oppressor for help. For example, sisters, you're in a financial bind. You know what I'm saying? The father of your child's in a financial situation too. So what is your solution? You go to welfare. And unbeknownst to you, you don't even know. A lot of these sisters don't know that the welfare system will put your baby daddy on child support. You probably thinking you're giving him his proper respect, like, yeah, he's the father, this is information. They would take that information, unbeknownst to you, and put him on child support. Now, the money that you think you're getting from welfare is not actually coming from welfare. It's actually coming from him. That's why he's coming home every day mad as hell, especially on Friday. Because the system pretended to be your friend, and then they pissed in your face. You know what I'm saying? Let me read that from the top again. If adversity come upon thee, like, you're going to have problems. You're going to. If adversity shall come upon thee, you're going to have problems. It's guaranteed. Thou shalt find him there first. Guess who's the root of your problem? When you dig down to the root, guess who's the first person you find? Who's there first? Your oppressor. Not just the root of your own personal problem. When you go to the root of any problem, let's say the ozone layer. Who's at fault for the ozone layer? Who's at fault for the ozone layer? Let's not say just the ozone layer. Let's say endangered animals. Who is hunting endangered animals into extinction? It ain't us. It ain't us. The water is dirty, and this is where we could get partial blame from. This is where partially our blame could come in, right? The water is filthy. And we know what could clean the water. We know shrimp, lobsters, crawfish, and all that. We know that cleans the water. But who is telling us that those are delicacies when they weren't originally delicacies? Let me tell you what those were. Those were food, crawfish, shrimp, lobster, crabs. You know what those were? That was hog maw. That was hog maw from the water. That was chitlins from the water. That was stuff that they fed the slaves. That was poor people food. You know what I'm saying? So where there's adversity, expect your enemy to be there. Expect them to be right there. The reason why you are dying of gout is because your enemy has convinced you that crawfish is a delicious thing to eat. That's what it is. Everything could be pointed back to our enemy. So let's read that again. If adversity come upon thee, thou shalt find him there first, and though he pretend to help thee, he shall undermine thee. Like you're gonna go through problems, and you're gonna understand that he is the root of that problem, and he's gonna pretend to help you. He's gonna try to give you all types of solutions, and it's just gonna undermine you. You're gonna die. And that's just on a health perspective. Never mind the social perspective. Let's bring up the social view of this. You are out there in the streets. You're hunting for a little bit of cash. You know what I'm saying? This Caucasian comes to plan a lick with you. Y'all do the lick. Y'all got a little bit of money. Y'all both get high with the money, and next thing you know, shit hits the fan. I like that. Nice and low. Like, next thing you know, and guess what? He is in that interview room snitching on you. He is snitching on you fully. He gonna get probably 6 months while you getting 4 to 5. Never trust them, man. Never trust them. Period. Trusting them is the problem with our people. Straight up and down the problem. But let's finish it up. He will shake his head and clap his hands and whisper much and change his countenance. I mean, you're going to agree with you. You're going to laugh, kiki with you. Yeah, you're right. Like he plotting. He plotting. Just like somebody plotted on that sister TAMLA HORSFORD's life. As soon as you recognize that, that's a good thing. Let's see. We got 7 minutes left or 6 minutes left. Let's try to finish as much as we can on this sister's article. Christian resigned from the FCSO amid an internal affairs investigation into allegations that Christian sent multiple women with whom he was having extramarital affairs confidential information about his cases. So he causes more confusion by sleeping with a bunch of hoes and giving them information about the case. Now the case is compromised because he worked in the same department that's supposed to be doing the investigation. But let's continue. In a statement in January 2021, Christian defended himself, saying that the women whose complaint triggered the internal investigation, the internal affairs investigation, has been acting out of hurt. I am far from a perfect human, he told a local news channel. I chose to end a long-term extramarital relationship abruptly. Just one. He blaming this on one woman, even though they found multiple. This person, out of anger and hurt, chose to go to Sheriff Freeman with a list of alleged misconduct on my part. Freeman's relationship was stronger with him than with those women. In 2020 hindsight, I would have not resigned, but stayed for the investigation and taken what punishment was fitting up to termination. You hear that? That's why these white people leave their jobs. They leave their jobs so they could escape certain punishments. Anything beyond firing, they could deal with. But they know it's going to go beyond firing. But let's continue. As in the internal affairs investigation, lacks my side of the story and makes me out to be something I am not. All the good I have ever done in 16 years of law enforcement is gone with this document. Their internal affairs investigation ultimately found him to have violated his oath of office and neglected his duties, according to the local news station. All right, there's a lot to read. You know what I'm saying? I won't be able to finish it all. And I apologize for that, but you see right here, I'm going to put this in the I don't know how this chat works, but I'm going to put it in the chat. Hopefully hopefully it links. You know what I'm saying? That's the link to that. You know what I'm saying? Post it up there. So I got the scripture. I got the investigation up there. I got the link. I only got a 1 minute left, so I'm going to close this out with Shalom, Yahweh Shem, Yahweh Shabarakatah to all my brothers, Yahweh Shema Shem, Yahweh Shah to all my sisters. If you got any questions, hit me up. You know what I'm saying? We're going to get it in and beware. You know what I'm saying? The Midwest Barbecue Weekend is coming. Stay tuned. I'm going to hit you off with all that information. You know what I'm saying? And with that, Shalom.